All right, good evening. Today is the 11th of January 111. Quick word about today 111, which is almost, effectively over anyway. Today you can find yourself caught in the potential of everything that you keep justifying. And I kind of led onto that yesterday. The stuff you keep justifying is going to be the things that are primarily guiding you. And again, this year is a year of guidance. So if you are just guided by everything that you have continually invested in, be careful with those investments, especially if it's repetitive cycles of, just be honest with you, repetitive cycles of bullshit. This year is going to kind of tell on everybody to where you're good at wasting time. You're good at wasting time, you're good at wasting energy, but again, much like with everything in this realm, can't nobody tell you different. And that, is choice, which leads into this reading here. We're coming up on the full moon. It's the full wolf moon. To be honest with you, I don't even know what sign it's in. I really don't. At the end of the day, it won't matter. It'll matter processing it from a standpoint of separation, but looking at it from a point of wholeness is just more glamorization of what you can tell yourself. This is known as the wolf moon. Traditionally, that's because you can hear the wolves howling. You can see the wolves out hunting in pack, which is can be taken from many different angles. The wolves could be howling because not only are they communicating, but they're also hungry. They're out in pack because they're hungry, but also it's time to migrate and make changes. So there's a lot of things going on with it. So that's why I'm going to use dominoes in this reading. As I put in the caption, are you howling mad? A lot of y'all don't know why you're howling in the first place. Is it because you're hungry? Is it because you've seen too much? Is it because you're trying to be heard? And I'm sorry, to me, it's really that third one. Some of y'all kind of just, you need a hug. Really. A lot of y'all need a hug. I know that I say this a lot, and, to me, I feel like it's possibly a double standard. And I'll eat that one. It's a double standard in the sense to where you hear me say something about how y'all are caught up in hypersexuality when at the core I'm a hypersexual person. But I also try and operate from common sense. We see it all day long. People put themselves in position to be I Googled, but then they get mad when they get I Googled. Wholeness. So it's like there is a part of the human psyche that craves attention so much to the point to where any attention is attention. You don't even bother worrying about whether it's good or bad because your righteousness of your ego told you I can do this and I'm going to do it, and nobody has the right to say anything different. Let your life tell your tale. So a lot of y'all, like I said, just need a hug because you haven't seen enough within yourself, and so you're out here trying to find more from others. This full moon, where lunar energy, emotional energy, is under amplification. I'm sorry for you baby witches and things like that think that the full moon is a point of release. And new moons are amplifications. Sorry, let me quit poking at y'all. Do what you do. Y'all gonna quit eating up all this misinformation out here on TikTok and Facebook and Insta scam. I'm sorry, it's all perspective anyway, though. But anybody with any real world sense would be able to verify that during full moons, people act a little bit more loony. Mothers, or pregnant mothers, go into labor. People with already known psychoses, such as mental hospitals, those are heavy workout times for those type of facilities. Nursing homes, people with dementia, again, schizophrenia, dementia, multiple personality disorders, people with levels of depression. Around the full moon, things get harder and heavy because the lunar energy is amplified. Holy shit. You can go outside in a couple hours and watch how big that full moon is because it's not all the way full, but yet we're in the throes of it. It is probably about 98 to 99% waxing gibbous. So, what's going on, Big Chicken? So, again, this is a full moon reading. The title is Are You Howling Mad? But do you know why you're howling mad is the real answer. So I'm gonna use dominoes because, again, like I'm saying, everything is perspective. So we'll use the lower perspective, which really is just your ego-driven shit, and then we'll use the higher perspective, which is, unfortunately, in this realm of separation, your righteous side of things, what like people would like to call higher self. Higher self is just as tricked as ego, in my perspective and experience. Your higher self is just on some glamorized, more proper bullshit, but still on some bullshit nonetheless. And then we'll look at the bigger picture, the total picture of the domino, and that might be what's really going on at the core. So again, like I said, I didn't pay attention to what sign it's in. Again, it don't matter. You should start addressing yourself in wholeness. But we'll go down the signs and see what happens. So the first sign that might be howling mad under this full moon on Monday at 5:27 p.m. Eastern time. Holy shit. 5:27. 5, the teacher. 27, the enslaved. Teaching you how to stay further enslaved. But if you look at 5:27, it's also a 77, delusion. You are enslaved to your delusion. And again, if you missed what I was saying earlier about the plethora of people who sexually post everything, but don't like to be told that, hey, you're doing too much, that's their level of delusion. It's okay for me to get out here and be half naked and expose myself. You don't have the right to look at me sexually when the only thing I did was present myself sexually. Play stupid games, get stupid prizes. That's all I'm gonna say. So Aries, your head's already on fire, and you can't be told that you're burning yourself. God damn it, my favorite domino, 6-4. It gets you caught in the game. I'm not gonna waste my time explaining this because, again, I'll always tell you 6 is a multiplicity. You see a 6, you can also see an 11, you can also see a 33, you can also see a 2, you can also see a 222, you can also see a 111 There's many things you can see. Realistically, if we're talking about dominoes, this is a 6 though, and that's a 4. If you know how to play dominoes, this is the one that gets you in the game. Remember, I said this is dealing with the Aries on fire. The mind's already on fire. Now it's a full moon. What happens when you blow air on a fire? It gets bigger. The stuff that's already burned in your mind is only going to get bigger and keep you further in the game. Why? 11. Justification. 6. Traumas. The ego is caught up on justifying traumas and just trying to make sense of everything that it's seeing. Henceforth, like I said, this is a 6, this is a 3, this is a 33, this is a 2, this is everything that you can make out of it. See it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it's a 33, 1, 1, it's 11, 1, 1, it's a 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it's a 6. The ego just says, let me make sense out of everything I'm seeing, instead of, like I said a second ago, instead of figuring out why my mind's on fire, it's trying to figure out what's the best perspective on how to address it. This is what you hear me call the hot pot theory. The definition of insanity. How do you let go of a hot pot? Some people will say, well, you need to, find a safe space to put it. You're already in danger. The pot's hot and you're holding it with your bare hands. You don't find a safe place to put it down. You just let that motherfucker go. And that's just reality. So the ego perspective is you just trying to justify what's already got you torn apart. Why? Remember I told you your higher self is trying to find a more glamorized way to do things. It just wants to find balance with the experience. 4. But finding balance with the experience has only did what? Box you in. Now you're trapped. Trying to find balance with an experience that has already left your mind on fire means you're still trapped. That is trauma subscription in its purest form. Something's happened, you can't change it, but yet you're trying to figure out a way to let it go. But the only thing that it's doing is changing you because you won't let it go. Again, see the watch pot. So the whole problem was 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 is choice. 10 is something has presented itself in separation. There's 2 numbers pretending to be 1. This shit ain't even real. There is 2 numbers telling me that they're 1. Nope. So things have already presented themselves in a format that should require you to do better perspective and awareness of self, if that makes sense. But most of you won't do it. Why? Because you're going to already choose between what's been placed in front of you, and it already told you it was a trap. In this case, the Aries mind is on fire in the full moon. Your ego's going to win. Ego's going to win because ego is going to drag higher self with it, because both of them don't know that they're still one and the same, just playing a part. But I digress. So from there, we'll go on to Taurus. Hey, Belle. Oh, never mind. Hey, Danny. Daniel. So from there, we'll go to Taurus. Oh, boy. Remember I told you 527? The peak time of the full moon is a 77. Look what we drew, a 77. Remember I just told you the higher self and ego are one and the same. They're just looking at things from a different perspective. 7 is self-awareness. Ego, baby. Ego is only going to try and find a way to make sense of what it's seeing from its perspective, and higher self is only going to try and make sense of what it's seeing from its perspective. But at the end of the day, it's still the same. What's 7 over 7? It's still 1. What's 7 out of 7? Still ain't left you with nothing but the fool. 7 plus 7, 14. What you become patient with? 14, 1 plus 4, 5. What are you learning? What are you being moved by? So the whole problem is, baby, the whole problem is that with this Taurus energy, you're stuck in your own delusions. You're stuck in your own delusions. Hey, Daniel, come here. Sorry. Trying to make sure I don't have a hot pot. Turn that burner off right there. Nope, the other one. Yeah. Thank you, sir. So, moving on to Gemini. Remember, this was about justifying separation under this full moon energy that's already got you howling mad. And then we're just trying to, under this Taurus energy, find the separation within myself without realizing that 7 is still 7. Now you're in Gemini. This is basically, over the years, I said Gemini is basically the computer program itself. If 7 is over 7, wholeness. If 7 is 7, but I don't understand what 7 is, then I need to find identity. So with this Gemini energy, this is, especially with this full moon, it's going to have you trying to honor the safest format of identity within yourself. But again, this is also common in Geminis. You've already made space for multiplicity. I haven't met a Gemini in my whole life who ain't got some formats of split personalities. And some of them stand on that shit. See, I can be happy, and then I can be evil. I can be good, but I can be sad. And they stand proudly in that shit, that ability to have inconsistency in their emotions. They'll view that shit as a strength. They'll view that shit as a strength. When they don't have any ability to realize when they've given too much energy into people, places, and things, and they act this way because of, that's that trauma subscription stuff you hear me talk about. Nobody's making you do anything. You're allowing. You're allowing. So with this full moon under the Gemini energy, where I'm just trying to, again, howling mad. I'm trying to figure out why I'm energetically being pushed and pulled. The problem with that, with this Gemini energy, is you don't take accountability for showing up to the game. And this will play out in this domino. This Gemini under this full moon is going to try and make sense of the game instead of their reasoning on why they showed up. 2 and 8. 2 and 8 in my number system, 28, is the queen of waters. It is the voice in their head. Remember, I just got through saying Gemini will stand proudly on their ability to be in duality. My left mind, my right mind, my good side, my dark side. Where's your wholeness at? And then here comes that egoic part that says, wholeness don't mean nothing to me because I understand who I am. You understand who you are in the reduction of yourself. And if that's what makes sense to you, you operating less than whole, you gotta let your life tell your tale. That is, you already distracted. Why? Your ego is only trying to chase duality. It is connected to itself in separation. Being connected to yourself in separation was already the whole answer. If I'm connected to myself in separation, there is no wholeness. I will glorify and glamorize all the pieces. Why? That eight. The higher self says, I just need a bigger box. Remember in Aries, where I told you the higher self, it's not a reality. It's an accepted illusion. Remember I told you Aries says, holy shit, I'm just trying to find balance in the box. That was a 4. In this Gemini, it becomes an 8. I just need a bigger box to figure out all of me. You understand that? Whereas 4 was enough for the Aries, Gemini needs twice as much space because Gemini will put up with twice as much bullshit. So the 4 becomes an 8 because I'm now going to find balance with everything that has me in separation, when that was the whole trick. The minute that you let your separation become your reality, you're no longer real. That in the term of relationship. The minute that you tie yourself into a drug dealer or something like that, and you just want to be safe and have a good family, but you tie yourself into somebody who cannot give you those conditions, but you lie to yourself because I'm going to stick by them while they get better at what they're doing, you already bought into the conditions that already told you your reality was already in danger. But if you accept it as your reality, you have two damaged minds. Your own personal mind that made sense of putting yourself in danger, and then the other person who don't see that as a danger at all, when in reality neither one of you do. We call that a reflection. A lot of people end up with people and then wonder why they ended up with them. It was a reflection. It was something that you don't honor or see within yourself, so you go find it, hire it, HIRE, in somebody else. Holy shit. Gemini, 2 plus 8, 10. You hired it. You made a choice. You'll choose between a knife and a gun as long as you think it was my choice. That's the dangerous component. So that was Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Here comes the Cancer. Without trying to be funny and act like I know your situation, Aisha, humor me on my perspective. Why do you have mood swings? Hell, don't get me wrong. We all have mood swings on certain levels. But you understand what I'm saying? Why do you have a whole box set apart as mood swings? I understand when something happened and it pulled me a certain way, and I'm like, hey, I got to check myself. Why am I getting so angry about that? Or why am I being miffed or biffed and spiffed about this, that, and the other? You understand? Not, oh, I can't do this because that's going to be the result. And that's how that's coming off, is you have a known parameter of mood swings that's going to create a problem. The whole problem with your mood swings creating a problem might be is that you have not got to the root of why your mood swings. Figure out what the external triggers are and then correlate them to what's going on internally. If it's always a certain person, a certain situation, a certain time of the month, things like that, then you'll have to start getting better about what triggers the mood swings. And then here's the key. You have to unload the gun. So you can figure out what's triggering you, but you got to stop walking around like a loaded weapon. I have to understand that where these things that keep putting me in mood swings, they might be swinging me because I have not taken more accountability for myself. You understand that? And again, people are different, but I correlate that to my own personal experiences with, like, say, with PTSD. You're either going to let that shit drive you crazy, or you're going to understand that these are experiences of the past that you can no longer change, so you got to stop letting them change you. I look at mood swings in certain senses the same way. Stop letting shit trigger you. But we can keep making excuses, and then we're in that Cancer energy. When we make excuses for why everybody else or everything else has more power over us than we have awareness to stay in control of ourselves, game's over. If something is always able to do something to you, you're never safe. That's the Cancer energy. We just left 2-8. Now you're trapped in that 8. Your ego wants to find balance with that duality bullshit. Remember I told you that Gemini mind just wants to find a safer program? Oh, you found a safer program. You just put yourself deeper into a box. And now you're trapped and hoping that nothing push you around in that box, because the whole problem is you're already struggling in that box. You understand that? That's somebody who is already mentally embattled, but doing well until certain times of the week, certain times of the month, or when somebody says something that they don't want to hear. I'm not gonna do that because this is the internet, and I'd hate to have to shoot that person. So this is like a well-known athlete who is as gentle as a baby, but as volatile as a fucking bear. Can be just as calm and collective when you're talking to him, but if you say something the wrong way, then he might bite your ear off. You understand that? That's not safe. Being one step away from being a ticking time bomb, or always walking around as a ticking time bomb, or always walking around proclaiming yourself to be emotionally weak. Emotion. Energy being moved. Why was the energy moved? Why are you energetically being moved? If you can't have a good answer for why you're energetically moved, then you already are your own cancer. You understand that? I already am sponsoring my own sickness because I'm making concessions for the results, but not the causes. See, if they just don't do this, then they ain't got to worry about that. No. Why are you worried about somebody doing something to make you act out of character? That's a cancerous mindset where you have no accountability for why you're doing things. You just have the responses for the results. I'm not going to say that you're weak. I don't think you're emotionally weak. I just think that you are probably energetically invested to some bad things. Bad thoughts, bad beliefs. And we can go there. Bad beliefs, bad traditions, bad habits. Trying methods that clearly don't work for you, that you end up working more for them, but because you have not taken enough time to do them for yourself wholeheartedly, it's easier to keep taking failures in what you invest in, because again, at the end of the day, you haven't invested enough in yourself. And that's not just you, that's a lot of people. Everybody on this realm, well, not everybody, but the majority of people in this realm is already waiting on somebody to come save them. Something else will come and do the work for them because they already deem themselves incapable of doing it on their own. That's a programming flaw. So you're already your own cancer when you don't think yourself enough to be the cure. You're already going to be primed for trapped in that balance, and on the higher side, already trying to find a bigger space to handle that balance. That 4 becomes an 8. All it does is double up. What does a cancer do? When one cell produces a cancer and it finds a safe space, it populates. If I have a mindset that is telling me that I can't do anything for myself, it populates. And then whatever you told yourself is greater than you populates too, because it'll have to be there to keep eating your energy, because you won't take care of your energy for yourself. So sorry if that don't make sense to you, but don't know how to explain it any other way. So you become your own cancer when you don't see yourself as enough. This full moon might mentally make you have to face some situations to where you have to prove to yourself that I am enough. But here's the trick. Sometimes the best way to prove to yourself that you are enough is to stop showing up for somebody else's shit show. Stop doing the same things that ended up with that same result. I find myself having mood swings when I keep doing the same stuff. Holy shit, stop doing the same stuff. I can't. Then you've already lost the game when you already told yourself that you have to play it. So try doing something different. And then perfect that. If I do something different, but I still keep including the same mindsets or I still keep including the same people, then I got to do some more homework. I had to do some more homework. Full moon, in this case, will now operate on the Leo energy. Leo is the ego. Leo is your power in investment. It is your energy being generated and now it's about to be operated into an experience. So as I told you, the whole problem is that you're operating out of ego, higher self, but you're missing the bigger picture. This Cancer missed the bigger picture of 4 plus 8 is 12. You hung. You're hung up. But remember, I'm telling you, this is basically like a computer program. Key gets stuck. You're hung up. It's no longer a workable program. But if you keep sitting there and keep trying to use a program that already showed you it don't work, who's at fault? If you keep using a program that clearly does not work, but you don't want to do nothing different, who's at fault? Is it the program or is it you? So we have to take accountability and responsibility at some time. So that's how we become our own Cancer, because holy shit, we caught in our own ritual of hangups. We want people to do stuff for us. We want people to do something different. But then yet we sitting here doing the same. Holy shit, how's that working out for us? We want to see something different, but we out here doing the same shit. Leo, your ego. As I said at the beginning, you can't tell a fool that they're being foolish. Therefore, they're going to keep on doing the same shit. They're going to energetically invest and generate and operate in the same cycles they're tired of seeing. See what happened here? I'm tired of finding balance with what already got me in struggle. I'm tired of finding balance with what already has me trapped in a struggle. Stop giving it your energy. The full moon in Leo is going to show you where your energy is being given. It's another 12. You've been moved. 5. You're learning a lesson. The Hierophant. 5. Manifestation, manipulation, movement. You're being moved trying to find out who you are. That's lack of accountability. The whole problem right here in Cancer says you're trapped in a struggle. You are trying to find balance with a struggle. Remember I told you earlier about getting in a relationship with somebody who their whole purpose is to show you struggle, but you stay out of justification? It don't make sense. If I stay with somebody who their whole MO is to just show me struggle, good luck finding peace. Even though I'll tell you peace is a trap too. But right here, my ego, I'm going to keep on moving, trying to find me where I've already only found myself in struggle. The whole answer was, if I keep finding myself in struggle, stop showing up. If every time I do something and it ends up with a struggle, stop giving my energy to what keeps producing the struggle and figure out something different. But the Leo energy right here, 5 plus 7, it's another 12. You hung up. At that point, your ego, which just keeps saying 5, move, learn another way to do it. The problem was learn another way to do it without learning who I am. That's common bullshit out here, is where you go through a bad relationship and yeah, the other person was a piece of shit, but you wouldn't know better. But because they were such a piece of shit that they did a piece of shit to you, you ain't gonna take accountability for you not only being a piece of shit to yourself, but probably a piece of shit to others too. So then when you go to your next relationship, you're gonna pat yourself on the back for getting away from a piece of shit, but the piece of shit was still in you too. So guess what's happening when you get to another relationship? More pieces of shit. But you ain't gonna learn to get rid of your own hangups and stop sacrificing yourself by doing the same thing. It'll still be somebody else's responsibility. Lack of accountability. Holy shit. Virgo. You'll be caught in a cycle. This full moon, Virgo, might show where you caught in a trauma cycle, but you ain't ready to admit that you the motherfucker spinning the wheel. Oops. It's another 5. Remember I told you the Leo ego is just going to show you how to move to try and find you? That Virgo Overthinking mind of a Virgo is only going to try and find the best way to find you. I'm going to find me by moving and figuring out who I am. If you have to move to figure out who you are, you don't know who you are. I'm trapped and I'm just trying to get free. You see that? I'm trapped and I'm trying to get free. I'm trapped and I'm trying to get free. That Virgo function right there, whether you resonate or not, that Virgo function right there in this full moon is operating completely out of ego. Completely out of ego. My need not to get trapped in the balance of my traumas will make me stand on the safest version of me that I see. Many ways to take that. I'm not going to do that because that will be a fucking 4-hour class. When you know the you that you put forward is only the representative you that is there to keep everybody else away from figuring out who you really are, because I don't want them to hurt my inner child or my soft self and all these other little variations of separations y'all keep coming up with. See, I put my mean face forward so that they don't get to know me, because if they get to know me, they might hurt me. You already hurt. You already hurt because you ain't done nothing to heal that ideology of needing to keep a hurt version of you that you develop and create a hardened version of you should somebody get close. You ain't protecting her from them. You keeping her caught in captivity. So that Virgo function, like I'm saying right here, is I'm just trying to find a way to get out of the box and be a better me by keeping me in a box. 1 + 4, patience. 5, movement. You'll manipulate yourself. That Virgo energy under this full moon will show where you keep manipulating yourself because you already view everything else as a potential trap to make me go back into the old me, which means you ain't the new you. You the old you, still waiting not to get hurt again. Trauma subscription, trauma nurturing, trauma bonding, traumatized and toxic ass patterns. Resonance only. Why? Because remember, you're just trying to find balance. This full moon, when we get into this Libra energy, is just going to try and find balance to see the best me. It's only going to piggyback on this Virgo energy. If I find out the balance of the best me, then I can get out of balance altogether. You don't find the balance of the best you. You find the wholeness of you altogether. Mass programming. 99. The end game. My end game is to find the balance of me so that I can figure out who I am. Go grocery shopping. Fill your cart with 20 things. They all belong to you now. That'll lose some of you, but I'm not going to explain that one. 99. Remember, 333 111 9 333 111 9. Multiplicity of the best way to see things, as long as I make it fit for me. And that's really a Libra energy. I've been saying this for years. Libras can be upside down and drowning and still out here yelling balance. Yeah, you're right. You got a balance. You have a connection to whatever's killing you. But if you don't think it's killing you because it's just showing you a better you, you'll help light the flame too. So this full moon with this Libra energy is going to have you out here really standing on your end game without realizing the end game might be ending you. And I don't mean that in the sense of, physically harming yourself, but I'm just saying mentally that shit is going to push you to the fucking limit. Why? Balance. The ideology and the necessity to have a balance with something without having wholeness within yourself. Go in the woods and find balance with a bear. Or you can have wholeness with yourself and understand going in the woods and find the bear in the first place might have been the problem. 9 + 9, 18. It's the full moon. Like again, I said, I'm not sure what sign it's in, but if it's in Libra, that's going to get even more amplified. Because that Libra energy, 9 + 9 being 18, 18 is the moon. Emotionally, I've gave all my potential to what I'm struggling with. Why? Because I think I can control it by finding balance with it. Been saying this a lot for the past few weeks. If you find, no, I see it in my head, that movie Die Hard, the original one, and the bad guys were in the tower and they had the hostages, and that one guy thought he was a Billy Badass. I know how to deal with people like this, and he went in there and tried and made deals with him and ended up getting himself killed because he thought he knew how to establish a balance with somebody who had a different end game, and they ended his game. Messing with things that you have no idea of what they are, but you think you can control them, won't work out for you. Why? Scorpio, won't work out for you. It'll only show you death. It'll only show you what's killing you, but at the end of the day, if you're doing this right, your end game should only show you you. So if things put me through cycles and keep killing me, I should also see how I had a hand in it. Not what somebody did to me and now they need to be held accountable and all this other shit. Then he ain't your person there. See, that's still some of the more Gemini sabotage bullshit. Love you, but look at your own words. My person is a Scorpio, and he blocked me last 2 months ago. Last 2 months ago. So 2 months later, he's still your person? No, sweetness. It's not your person. But the fact that my person came out in your wording mean that you're still trying to find balance. You better take the gift. That's a hard lesson to learn. I'm going to be the first one to tell you. It's a hard lesson to learn that somebody else's no is really a yes. Yes, they're saying no to me, then that's the opportunity for me to move my energy away from them, figure out who I am, and then be open for a more reciprocated experience. Not let my ego tell me to stay connected to somebody who ain't connected to me because holy shit, it's a reflection. They're going to drag me because I keep dragging myself. And now I got mood swings. Because you ain't giving me what I won't give myself. That's what you might want to say. You're waiting for somebody to give you what you won't give yourself. And then he's going to be the bad guy. No, you don't. You're attached to him. Sorry, y'all need to learn that. Love don't hurt. That's a condition. See, y'all can't keep saying unconditional love and then I really love them hard, but they hurt me. Wait a minute, hurt is a condition. So was it really love or was it just an attachment? Was it familiarity? Was it comfortability because, as I already told you earlier, you don't want to do nothing different, so you only feel safe attaching yourself to the same stuff to keep you boxed in. And I'll humor you. Let's play human. Say you do love him. Say you really do love him. Is it reciprocated? No, obviously not. So why am I lowering myself into an experience that is not magnifying me? What's the end game? How can I expect to be more with somebody who doesn't even see me as enough and is really only showing me less? It's a reflection component. You don't see yourself as enough to release him when he's already telling you his truth. And I don't give a shit if this is just some temporary argument. Psst, it is what it is. The minute somebody get to that point to where they need to be away from you, that's the end of the fucking game. But you can lie to yourself and stay caught in cycles, though. But I'm just saying. He always H-rat me. I don't know what you're saying. He always brat me, rat me, hurt me. Is that what you're trying to say? If he always hurts you, then you need to absolve him and figure out why you keep hurting yourself. Again, if I keep picking up a hot pot without the proper materials, did the pot hurt me or did I do it to myself? Scorpio energy, you've already been shown everything you know, everything you need to know to stop killing yourself. And I mean killing yourself by energetically wasting your time. But this full moon is going to basically amplify that in a Scorpio mindset, which is, again, most Scorpios are of such a nature to where they're untrusting of what's going on around them. because they're always evaluating who could do something to them or who already done something to them. It's a very, very non-trusting and low-key paranoid mindset. No disrespect, but it is what it is. Scorpios can be paranoid than a motherfucker. Very paranoid. This full moon, remember I said at the beginning, the lunar energies, this shit can exacerbate the fucking paranoia. Oops. Oops. The end game, 99 for the Libra energy is going to show you 88 for the Scorpio energy. 88 in my number system is the gatekeepers. It is your traumatic memories that keep on telling you why you're going to keep doing or stop doing the same thing. You understand that? You probably don't, but I'll give you a quick class. Your 88, your gatekeepers, say you have the fear of heights and you don't know why you have the fear of heights. It could be a internal traumatic memory. And to be fair, we could tie that into past lives, future lives, mental blocks. You can tie that into anything, but there is already a pattern thought in you that is that is purely against anything that have to do with heights. So whenever your current self gets anywhere near heights, it's going to produce the symptoms to try and convince you to stay away from it. Whenever you start doing inner work on yourself that is going to make you become highly accountable, that might make you have to face some of your own traumas, those traumas that are watching, and these are all internal functions, those traumas that are watching you almost become better at being accountable to yourself, they ain't gonna like that. It's a self-sabotage system. You see it in people externally in relationships. We've seen it in examples in movies and things like that, where somebody is doing something and the other person don't appreciate them. What was it? Precious Mama. Precious Mama would be the example of a gatekeeper. Precious wanted to do things for herself, so Precious Mama scared that she gonna become more than what she was. She needed to belittle her. She needed to put her back in subduction. That's what's happening here with the Scorpio energy. Is if my paranoia is running me, the minute I come into the awareness, remember the full moon shines the light. The minute I come into the awareness that holy shit, I don't need to be paranoid. I just need to be free from the paranoia. Their memories that only thrive on that paranoid energy might kick up and say, no, you don't. No, you don't. And here's an event to verify it. So this could be the example of somebody who has been doing a lot of inner work to get out of their own personal struggles, their eights, getting out of the struggles in their head, and then something happened. Commonly like what people will say, a Mercury retrograde event, or Mars retrograde event, or a Saturn return, and now she's facing her traumas, bullshit like that. Yeah, they have effect on us because we process shit from separation, but they can only affect you in separation as much as you are not as effective for yourself in wholeness. I can see where something happened in my past and this shit keep popping up, but if that ain't got nothing to do with me, not my circus, not my monkeys, sorry for you. But if I operate out of separation and this mindset of paranoia, the minute something come up, I'm gonna pay attention to it. And that's all a 88 wants, the gatekeeper, is for you to pay attention to what can put you in harm so you stay in harm. It's a paranoia mindset. This 1822, Charleston, South Carolina, the insurrection and revolt of Denmark Vesey. All the slaves was getting together and getting ready to get off the plantation. One of them didn't feel safe getting off the plantation, so he went and told Massa, and now they all dead. That's a gatekeeper. Everybody else and everything in your body wants change, but that part of you that has benefited from not being changed don't want free. Scorpio, be mindful when there's a part of you that don't want to do nothing different. Why? Because you've already found investment in doing the same. Remember, I told you, under this full moon, your paranoia might be kicked up a little bit higher because this is a wolf moon. You're going to be howling mad and you ain't going to be able to shut up about what's going on in your head. The whole problem was what's going on in your head might be time to put that shit on the table and figure out why. Why? Because of this sign here that a lot of people aren't familiar with, Ophiuchus, the hidden one. The man wrestling with the serpent. Unfortunately, the serpent is knowledge. Wrestling with what I know. Remember what I just said. The gatekeepers are only imprints of experiences that you already had. That's what you know. I'm not gonna wrestle with what I know. I'm not wrestling with shit. I'm gonna be still and be me. Ophiuchus, I'll give you two dominoes because this is a multiple perspective. The first perspective, this is Ophiuchus that is wrestling with its gatekeepers. Before I go further, Scorpio was 8 plus 8, 16. Tower card. The voices in your head. Remember I told you 88 is your gatekeepers? The strongest voice in your head will win the battle. If you're about to make a quote unquote level up, if one of the parts of you leveling up does not want to do anything different, it will convince you. It will sit on your shoulder like that veritable angel and devil and advocate for you doing the same. But it's still all you. Self-sabotage. Right here with this Ophiuchus energy, it's 3 and 9. Self-sabotage. 3 is your thoughts. My ego is only paying attention to my thoughts. Why? Because it's convinced higher self that it can think better. 3, 3, 3. 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. If it can think better than this one egoic thought, it could look at things from multiple perspectives and choose the best way out. Sorry. Looking at things from multiple perspectives and trying to find the best way out requires you to get put in. Holy shit, go back to Aries. What was the problem? 6-4. You got put into the game. You got put into the game. So with this Ophiuchus that is just wrestling with its traumas, its gatekeepers, it's trying to find a way to stay higher vibrating than the traumas. But the whole problem was, if you stay higher vibrating than your traumas, but yet the only thing feeding your traumas is you, did you not just feed your traumas more? Think that one over. I'm high vibrational. Yeah, but you traumatized and toxic as shit. Yeah, I know, but I choose my energy. Yeah, and your energy choosing you. Them traumas and that toxicity you won't let go of, them motherfuckers just got better off of feeding you off as you got better at feeding from them. Oh, go to your timelines. You'll see a lot of high vibrational people that are bat fucking shit crazy. And you probably can say the same thing as about me, but again, you gotta let your life tell your tale. You can't be out here high vibrational and sitting in the corner one step away from the grippy sock, or out here actually doing psychotic shit. Insane psychotic shit. Resonance only, motherfuckers. So that Ophiuchus side where you hiding from knowledge by trying to find a way to vibrate higher than what you know, that's all they wanted you to do was to stay in the game. So this is the Ophiuchus that should realize I don't have to wrestle with knowledge. I have awareness. I'm aware that that snake wants me to wrestle with it by doing what it told me to do. Rabbit season, duck season. Rabbit season, duck season. Duck season, rabbit season. Okay, pal. Duck season it is. Pow. Some of y'all won't get that. Because y'all don't watch shit but motherfucking baddies and housewives of Beverly Hills and housewives of Atlanta and bullshit trash ass Zeus TV and watching videos of people getting killed all the time or low vibrational shit. Trying to stay high vibrational. Oops. This is the Ophiuchus that should have stopped wrestling with that shit altogether. Oops. 7. Figure out who you are. 7. And then your thoughts will be better. 7, my ego should figure out who it really is, not who it thinks it is. See the other Ophiuchus right here? I am my thoughts, says the ego. I am my thoughts, and then higher self says, I'll just learn to vibrate higher from them thoughts. Smart Ophiuchus said, psh, nah, I got to figure out who I am, and then I can figure out what I'm thinking. That's called loss of programming. Some of y'all might want to try that. Loss of programming is when you no longer have to do what you see everybody else doing. And furthermore, when I do what I do, I have to be accountable for why. Wholeness. Try that one. And again, before you go, if you are still in here, the thing about me is we're all these signs. These signs are us in separation. That's this current existence. You could have been born under this, that, and the other, but all of these signs and separation still exist within us all. It is only when you can start to process yourself in wholeness that these signs and separations start to tell a better story. This Ophiuchus sign right here says you need to figure out who you are, and then you can figure out what you're thinking. Why 37? The creatrix, the queen of the spirit, the influence over what spirit is going to do, the thought that is going to tell you who you are. 3 plus 7, 10. When something tells you who you are, you have to look at the end game. 10, I'm going to make a choice between two numbers that have already told me that they're one. Awareness says that 10 is not one number, it is two numbers pretending to be together. It's a trick. Stop the game. But you can't. Why? Because again, you're processing yourself in the format of separation, and the full moon's light will only make you mentally want to move. So now you're in Sagittarius, the true 77 energy itself. Delusionally, whereas we were back here in this Taurus energy, which was the 77. The Taurus was the 77 energy that says that you're stuck because you don't know who you are and you're just trying to move to figure out who you are. You should never move to figure out who you are. Sagittarius, this full moon is going to make you move, not only to figure out who you are, but because you need others to see who you are. Egoically, you lost. This again gets into that hypersexual component of getting out here trying to show a tube of toothpaste, but you ain't got on no fucking clothes. Looks good, and we're going to keep looking, but egoically, you can't be told that you're part of the problem. You can't be told you're part of the problem. Why? 11. You'll justify 6. My traumas. Why? Because I'm staying in my highest vibration. I'm only doing what works for me. That's that 9 and that Sagittarius energy. It's a 6-9. It's a 6-9. Metaphysically, 6-9 is yin yang. It is the perspective of a 9 being a 6 and a perspective of a 6 being a 9. But both of them are traps. Both of them are zeros with a story, if you can process it from that. So 69 is a trap. 69 to get you done up. So the Sagittarius energy says, I'm going to justify staying in my highest vibration, even if my highest vibration means all I want is for you to see me. Take your time with that one. If you are in your highest vibration, you don't need to be seen. If you can't get to your highest vibration until you feeding off of other people's energy, you're a vampire. Ta-da. So Sagittarius will out here. We're gonna see a lot of sexual vampires and a lot of energy vampires out of here between now and potentially Wednesday, when that full moon starts to die down a little bit. And again, Monday at 5:27 p.m. is the peak. When we get to that peak of the full moon, some of these Sagittarians out here are gonna be showing their ass, literally. So from there, from Sagittarius, we're gonna go into Capricorn, and we are still in the Capricorn energy. Capricorn is the ruler of thoughts. Remember what this Sagittarian energy right here is. I'm going to justify what I'm thinking. 333. My mind, body, and soul. How I express myself as thought and motion. How I express myself as thought and motion will be how I'm seen. Capricorn is, I'm going to fight anybody else who don't see me as I see myself. The whole problem was, like I said a minute ago, if you have to be seen by others in order to verify how you see yourself, there's an issue. There's an issue. Holy shit. 1-8. You are already controlled emotionally by the moon. That's an 18 in reverse. The moon has already shown down you, and it is showing you everything you need to see. But again, Capricorn, I'm going to change everything I need to see into what I think I know. They only want to rule over their thoughts, but they don't take accountability for themselves as a thinker. And there is more thoughts in your head than thinkers. So the problem is the ego potential. It's who I am. I know my magic. Alchemy. I know who I am. The higher self side says it's a struggle. Yeah, you know yourself, but you don't know you're in struggle. But, valiantly in this illusion of separation, your higher self only wants to show you a safer way to play the game since you won't stop playing it. See what happens here? The ego says, I'm going to find the best one to be me. The higher self size says, we're all in struggle. We're all in struggle. So learn to struggle less. Learn to struggle less by giving space to the struggles so that they show themselves, so that you learn to stop giving you to your struggles. You understand that? This is almost like let's just say an exterminator. Exterminator, you set a trap out and you want the rats, roaches, whatever you're trying to catch to come out and into the trap so that you can get rid of them. When let's just say metaphysically, that might not be so smart. Don't set a trap to pull your traumas out. Figure out why your traumas are trapped in you. 1 + 8, where I told you this is an emotional, where you're emotionally overloaded. 9, fighting for control already leaves you in the struggle. Fighting for control already leaves you in the struggle. This is the veritable, not my circus, not my monkeys. The thoughts in my head that mean to rule over me, I ain't got to fight them. They already told me everything I need to see. The thoughts in my head that mean to rule over me already told me that they mean to rule over me. I'm not here for a war. I'm not showing up for the game. See, Aries already told you your mind going to be on fire if you show up for the game. Why? Because once the mind is on fire, you will only seek to move to find safety. So now you get into the Aquarius energy. I will only seek to move from where I have already emotionally found myself in danger. Ooh, 2 tried to come up and I should have pulled them, but I'm not going to do that this time. I just want to be one step away. Remember, that was an 18, that Capricorn energy. This Aquarius energy only wants to find a safe place to star in. That's a 17. The ego says, I'm going to find the best version of me. 7, self-awareness. The higher self side says, I'm going to take the function of ego. Remember, ego in Capricorn was, I'm going to find out how to alchemize and use my potential. This Aquarian side says, I'm going to find self-awareness and then I'll see me. You use the trap to get free. 1 + 7, 8. You use the trap to get free. You only moved further into the trap. Again, see the analogy? Like I was saying, hell, again, I used this before. If you go crabbing, the crab, when you put them in a crab trap, they go in through a little hole, but once they get in, once they go through the aperture of the hole, you can't get back out. You see it's a trap, but that fucking dead-ass chicken in there that's smelling like shit smells so good to that that crab, that it put itself in the trap, moving further into the trap, trying to get free. You understand? I know it's a trap, but that food calling me, so I'm going to go in there and I'll figure out how to get out later. Lack of accountability, irresponsibility. So this Aquarian energy is just basically saying, I'm going to star in something that's going to trap me, but I'm going to keep on starring in it until I figure out how to get free. At that point, higher self just became ego. Ego says, let me run the program until there is no programs to run. Higher self in its standard function of separation says, let me show you how to run less programs so that you stop running altogether. But by the time it makes it to the Aquarian energy where it keeps running from its responsibility to self, higher self then became ego. Holy shit. Higher self then became ego. Now you're in separation for real. Now you're in your Pisces energy. So now you have higher self with the ego function, and then you have ego with the higher self function, and then you have higher self with the ego function. So here's ego with the higher self function. It's trapped and struggling with what it keeps justifying. But what does it keep justifying? Its traumas. 8, 6, 14, 5. It keeps justifying 5 every time it moves. So now here is, that was ego with higher self. This is higher self with ego. Just trying to stay at its highest vibration and figure out who it is. Higher self at this point is saying, I'm going to stay in my highest vibration, and then that will show me who I am through ego. One becomes the other. This was 6-4 is 6-8 is 14, which is 5, and this is 8-7, which is 15, which is 6. You'll become your own devil. You'll become your own devil. But again, as I said, this is you in separation. This is you in wholeness. 26. Connect to yourself. This is apathy. This is 2-2. It's all a perspective. This 6, which is an 11, is still a 2. Your ego only wants to see you in multiplicity of separation. Your higher self only wants to see you in duality. The whole problem was 8. 2 plus 6, 8. Both of them are only showing you in struggle. That's the whole answer to the game. This full moon, even when you are not operating out of these signs, and again, I tell you, you're more than your signs. They're just glamorized parts and pieces of you in separation. If I can sit back and be still, that's what this last domino was. If I can sit back and process myself in wholeness, I can still see where everything around me wants to justify me being a part. But 2 plus 6, again, as I said, all that's just a struggle. It's a choice. Everything is a choice. Even when you don't realize it, and even when you keep selling your energy into thinking that somebody is going to choose for you, sooner or later you will stop gatekeeping your own traumas and let them go and be free to be yourself. Wholeness, happy full moon. Buckle up. Don't go howling mad, and don't let anybody else madly howl at you.